is the bracket of the H&W Masters. We have Lin already qualified for the top 4, and now one Chinese will follow. It's going to be Infi or 120. Infi was defeated by Lin yesterday in the winners finals. Focus took the loss against 120. All very close games, and now the losers, the loser of the winner bracket will face the winner of the lower bracket. And that's our game number 1, Infi versus 120.
And at the moment in this matchup, especially for 120, it's all about fast expansions. And looks like the Undead here pulled a fast one on Infi. Looked like Infi was certainly expecting that fast expansion to come out. In fact, with the Sacrificial Skull in the inventory for the DK, it looks very much so like that. But it all seems to be kind of a fake, as he didn't creep up the natural and is teching up instead. And Infi, he's like, well, okay, I guess there's no expansion for me to cancel. He's expanding himself, though, regardless. However, no tech in sight just yet.
True. And finally, we're in the game. Oh boy, Infi is playing the Night Elves as he did in the Yule Cup. This was the time they met, the last time they met. It was a great grand final. 3-0 lead for 120. Then crazy catch-up by Infi, making it a 3-3, but the Undead winning that tournament in the end. Can Infi get redemption here? 0-0, best of 3, first 2 advances to the offline finals and get $4,500. So, what happened so far? You explained it already, no expansion despite the Sacrificial Skull. What's 120's plan?
Yeah, everyone was expecting fast expansion. This is what 120 has been doing in this matchup for weeks now, even trying it out sometimes against Orc. Infi was certainly expecting it, but no. In the end, just turns out to be one base, DK creeping, going for the Ogre Magi here even, getting it, and with that, the Greater Mana. Taking up instead. I think the opening was still a little bit slower tech-wise, so it's not going to be as fast of an under tech as we may have seen in the past. On the Night Elf side, though, the tech is going to be much delayed, with an expansion on the way. In fact, almost finished already.
Alrighty, the inventory for the Keeper doesn't look the greatest either. Only gloves and ring, but the sentry wards are, of course, great. Infi got the 6 o'clock position, 120 got the 12 o'clock position, so the unique spots are distributed equally. Claws of Attack and Gloves of Haste for 120. He bought that at the marketplace. Interesting investment. Of course, insanely good for the Lich that is about to come. 50% already. He's on the way to tier 3. Infi, of course, is not teching only now, as you said. Lots of skeletons on this map. Lots of scouting going on. He didn't see the expansion just yet, I think.
There was a skeleton over there earlier. Not certain, though, whether he saw the tree or not. Keeper now with 2 points in Entangle, I imagine. Is very strong at the moment. With those hunts, he can basically kill anything that runs into his scopes. So the DK is trying to avoid him as best he can. Ideally, 120 would like to creep up that level 3, but not too easy to do. At this point in the game, you kind of want to creep with only heroes, perhaps with statues, because be it fiends or ghouls or whatever, whatever's out on the map and gets found, gets killed.
So we're gearing up for the latest stages, for the big fight. So far, 120 did a good job in staying away from the Entangle, keeping his fiends in, he doesn't even have any fiends, right? So keeping his hero away from the Keeper. Now the first Nova, slowing everything down, but Infi got the creep spot already and finds himself in Entangle. Now uses the second Nova to get out of that position. Level 3 with a Treant kill, so he's ready for the latest stages.
Yep, level-wise at least. Nowadays we see Undead always trying to go for the 2 base versus 2 base late game, which I feel like favors Undead actually, if it's an even kind of scenario. There was a Acolyte down in the south for a long time. I thought, okay, perhaps tier 2 counter expansion, but no, that was not the play either. Tier 3 is about to be finished. The question then is going to be for 120, is he going to counter expand, or will it have been too late already? I don't really think so. Look at the expansion for the Night Elf. It's only starting to mine now. And of course, the big tech advantage is with the Undead still.
Yeah, we're 7 minutes 30 into the game. Only now starting to mine from 2 bases. Experience looks good on Infi's side, but look in the base. What the hell? Since when do Night Elves know how to build engines of war in this matchup? It was all about lores. Either mass tier 1 or wins for the mass air. But it's not.
You only want to go wins, of course, when you have a high number of archers, and he didn't go archers. So I guess the question is, why did he go hunts instead of archers? He got level 3 pretty early, grab map control.
Yeah,
Perhaps he wanted to have something strong on the map to have an easier time canceling expos. Perhaps he was expecting a delayed expansion. But yeah, this is certainly an unusual choice. Normally it's always archers into air. And huntresses, they have always had a tendency of falling off. And now they're hurt already. But Moon Juice is okay, I guess.
This Lich is already insane. Hello, Super Lich. Double Gloves of Haste, Orb, Claws, Pendant. This will be given to the DK most likely, who also has the Potion of Greater Mana, so nice synergy there. We had a Wisp Scout for the used Skull. So the Blight was dispelled in the bottom. Infi still keeping tabs with the Sentry Ward, so once an Acolyte moves down, he will see that. But here's the first push against the Night Elf expansion. This Moonwell will not finish, but will the tree stay alive?
This is basically an all-in push right here. There's no expansion coming up anywhere, and if this push doesn't succeed, most likely the mass Dryads will overwhelm later on. So here is what it all comes down to in the end. First Destroyer up in the air, ready to work against the Entangle from the Keeper and the Treants and so on. Nova hitting the Huntresses, and the first one will not quite be taken out. Heal Scroll there being used. No Heal Scroll on the Undead side would be a great help for those ghouls. Only a single Fiend? Did he have? You have two? Anyways, healing it up nicely. DK still with plenty of calls to use thanks to the Greater Mana Potion, and these ghouls and Fiends are actually doing a great job taking out Huntress after Huntress, and the Dryad numbers just aren't here yet.
Absolutely agree. The Destroyer is doing a phenomenal job in the air as well against this Huntress mass. It wasn't really mass, but you know, his dispels are also on time, always there when the Treants come out. Nice last second coil. Entangle will kill it in the end anyway, but this is some free damage basically. It takes a lot of time to kill that Fiend. And as you said, these Dryads are gone, these Huntress are gone, and guess what's still alive? 48 supply undead.
Yeah, and if there was no more mana now in the DK, perhaps the numbers could overwhelm, but Greater Mana Potion, a pretty good item. Now the Mercs have to come in, try to be the savior here, but that's not gonna work. Even the staff home from the Keeper to the shop, at least he's got some units left. Actually, Infi still at 50 supply, but it's a shitty army. It's Dryads, it's Mercs, it's Hunts. This is not good against tier 3 undead.
Exactly, and he has massive lumber problems. Level 4 now on this DK. Feels like he hit level 3 only a minute ago at the bottom left Merc camp. And there's still ghouls. When do we ever see that ghouls survive the entire first fight and are still kind of healthy? Once again, drawing attention with this Fiend, coils it once more. This is an insane fight by 120.
Yeah, microing as well, as we know he can, and of course with that high level aura now and all those spells at his disposal as well as the spell, it seems almost easy for him to out-micro his opponent here. Still so much mana left to use as well. Perhaps not on the Lich, but certainly on the DK. And the two statues on the ground, so important. The backbone, the sustain, the reason for undead success nowadays on the highest level. GG! And 120 wins with that push.
My god. Put this game in a frame and call it a perfect undead game. Was there any mistake in those fights? The coils were always there. The dispels were super fast. The item, of course, a little lucky with the big mana potion, but he went for that spot to get exactly that. The Lich was a major carry. The statues were never attacked. Did he lose a single Fiend in that?
He lost one, but almost saved it, actually. Yeah, when you have micro like that, it's easy to outplay Huntresses. They just don't carry in the late game. And that's why we usually don't see this opening against Undead. Yes, it's strong early, but it falls off heavily. That's why normally we see higher numbers of archers into air, which is probably tougher to deal with as Undead. So why did Infi go for Huntresses? Why did he rely on this so much? I don't know.
Yeah,
the
I think it was a blind.
Fell off later on and also delayed the expansion a long time. We pointed this out in the game. It was a pretty late expo. He never got into 60 supply. And a tier 2 Night Elf army needs to be much bigger than a tier 3 Undead army.
Absolutely. I think he wanted to blind counter the fast expansion, as we mentioned in the game already. But there was none. And I don't know if 120 did not want to go from the start, or if he changed his mind when he saw the Huntress build or whatever. But this was kind of an easy game for him right from the start because of exactly what you mentioned.
I think he could have even counter-expanded, but decided to be more aggressive, look for that all-in knockout punch, apparently realized that the time just hadn't been there yet to get all those resources in. I don't even think there were any upgrades on the units either, right? So I guess at the end of the day, this was a really hard hold for Infi. Alchemist, not level 3, not even 60 supply, and no upgrades for those units which he was massing. Late game mercs, which kind of suck. They're only like good in the earlier stages.
And that was desperation already, right?
Yeah. All comes down to the hunts. It just slows everything down so much in that matchup.
Damn, I think it's the first time in forever that we're both wearing a white shirt. Back to Warcraft first, maybe.
You got the muddy as well?
No, I got a Spanish Love Songs t-shirt.
Oh, let me guess, that's a band.
Correct.
Nice. Sounds very romantic. That's very unlike you, Neo.
We had some good nights in quite some hotels. Don't tell me I'm not romantic.
We had some romantic nights, hell yeah. You bet.
Game number 2.
Oh, finally have in-game sound. I didn't have any for the first game. It's always so weird.
Feels like
Here we
next.
go. Exactly.
We have a few supporters coming in. Thank you, Pox. Thank you, Mikola Yakovlev, for buying a Back to Warcraft shirt. Klein Mook, FlexU, Barely, and Wheatwhack all coming in with the subs. We appreciate that a lot. So let's go. Group
Thank
A
you
round of
guys.
8.
Very much also from my side. And we kind of rushed into the first game here. They started very early on, so it all felt a little bit stumbled, you know.
Yes.
But guys, remember, this is a very important match. This is the highest prize money tournament since when even? Since like WCA or something? Like this is insane amounts of money.
Yeah.
You really want to get top 4 here, and this is the lower bracket. If Infi loses now, this game or the next, he's out. So this is for all the marbles, basically.
Indeed.
So what
Infi had a good year so far, getting the win in Super WGL, getting second place in Yule Cup, only defeated by 120 there. But since then, the Bronze Boy is oftentimes eliminated in the top 8. And this could happen here. I mean, it's still $1,500, which is never bad. But Infi in 2019... We're kind of used to better stands, especially since he won 2 of the WGL qualifiers as well. But it seems like his shape is kind of declining at the moment.
A player's forces are
and 120 was just there. And if you're not at 100% against 120, then you're in a lot of trouble, especially with the build that he played. This is way more standard now, as we are a last refuge with an Archer build and Keeper again. 120 this time, second Ziggurat. That should be an expansion.
A bit of an unconventional build from 120 for this map. It's a ghoul opening, but with a delayed crypt. This is a very fast altar, but the crypt is delayed, meaning the ghouls are a little bit later, meaning that usually you don't want to go out and start creeping with them right away. Instead, it's a DK only creeping with an acolyte, kind of like as we see oftentimes against human, but against Night Elf this is rather unusual. But seems to be working out pretty well so far. This has the benefit that you still get experience early on, just with DK and Skeletons creeping. Ideally, a Wisp would be detonating against this. That's a bit of a mistake by Infi. He should, in a perfect world, be looking for this one detonate, every skeleton dies, and that's so much experience for him. But okay, we shouldn't be too critical, I guess. Here we have the expansion now from Infi. We don't have Huntresses. This is looking more like the norm, more like a better build.
Yeah, this is the most standard game a Night Elf can play on LR, I think. DK, kind of old school, going into the Night Elf base, forces the first detonate already. That means, of course, he is without any points of mana, but replenishment potion. That's a quite nice little help. It's not the best item in the world, 200 HP, 75 mana, but he can tank a little more. Oh, uses that now to get 1 additional coil. The Wisp is scouting.
Did I tell you about the story between me and Terra at Iron Couch?
Yeah, you did, but maybe the viewers didn't get it, so feel free.
Yeah. We were talking about the patch, you know, and all the changes that are happening to Undead, and Terra was not too amused. I think multiple times said they have no idea what they're doing. And I was like, yeah, I would have liked to see some other changes as well. Something that I was really hoping for was replenishment potion in the undead shop, so you can easier early on have some form of healing, especially perhaps not so reliant on the DK. And then Terra was like, I don't know about that, dude. That seems totally broken. Isn't that way too strong? I was like, really? You think replenishment is so good? He was like, yeah, man. It's like 400 health, 100 mana. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't think it's that much, is it? And he's like, I think it is. And I was like, seriously? Like, so many players sell it even? It never seems that impactful. And then he started doubling down. He was like, I'm actually really sure. I'm actually really sure. And at one point I was like, I think we have to check this. So I checked out Wikipedia. And there was 200 HP, 75 mana. And I was like, huh. I guess I'm not that sure anymore.
Yep, exactly. He was a little off. I mean, he's been out of the loop for quite some time. Let's cut him some slack. Glad to have him back in the scene. So, DK is not using his skull for an expansion again, but for creeping. Gets once again, as he did on Echo Isles, a consumable for this. This time it's a potion of greater health, which is also nice, but of course not nearly as good as the bigger mana. Infi disturbing this creep now, coming in with a couple of archers, but the DK wants the coil and the experience for his level 3. Don't know if Infi can prevent that. He sees the Death Knight, but here's the coil, here's the level 3. Once again, nicely executed by the Undead King.
That was so close. The lingering vision of the skeleton dying was like a split second away. And Infi perhaps a little bit too impatient to wait for that. That's actually a big deal. Like, if the DK hadn't gotten that last hit, where would he have crept to level 3 next? There's like no safe camp anywhere.
Yeah, well, the Murlocs maybe.
Up. And with that level up and the Lich coming out, it's Archer hunting season, boys.
Oh yeah, that's some good damage. Old Mad Frog days. One coil, one archer. Of course those are over since the introduction of balloons. Great, but still a good nuke against him. Infi's expansion once again not up. This will be another 630 expansion or so.
When was Loon's Grace added, actually?
1.14?
I don't remember a time before Loon's Grace, but you were there a little before me, I think.
Well, you were quite new school 10 years ago, but I guess 1.14, but I don't know.
Alright, which one of our nerds in Twitch chat actually knows off the top of their heads? Don't Google it! If you actually know just like that, that would be pretty insane. Well, the DK stole the next consumable.
Yeah.
LR, both consumables going to the undead. What is this?
This is Bizarro World, Remo.
Bizarro World?
Bizarro World.
Ooh, oh my god, that creeps back though. Where's the Alchemist, by the way?
Interesting, right? It's not going for the second hero. Nice entangled focus, but he has 2 bigger healings. He can tank like a madman. Lich is coming in, and now we have Coil Nova Reveal being used as well. Archer hunting season confirmed.
Dude, the Lich with the perfect pickups from the main as well. He brought a mana potion for the DK and a dust. Give this Lich... Like, he shows up at the job the first day, and he's already getting a promotion. This is how good this is.
Another coil, another kill. Oh boy, is Infi taking a beating here in the north.
5 archers, right?
Yep.
Lich getting entangled.
And
he
the cool
pass the TP. Oh, nice surround actually with the treants. That was well done.
He's using that potion. Oh!
Big mistake. He gave him the potion and was like, if I use the potion, do I still get out? I'm not so sure.
He gave him the potion and the TP.
Yeah.
Oh boy, now the Alchemist is out. Infi's still alive, but major losses.
The ghouls killed one building there. I'm not sure what it was. Probably a shop, I guess.
Yeah. As he rebuilt it.
3 ghouls died for this. Okay, never mind. 2 ghouls. Level 1 Lich really isn't that big of a deal. It's like back very quickly. And he kept the TP and he kept the healing potion. It may have even been the better play to just let the Lich die. Perhaps he did actually let him die intentionally.
Nah, with transferring 2 items, especially the TP last second, I am not sure. I think he wanted to TP out, didn't want to use the consumable, but was just a little too late. But yeah, I think you're right.
I think so too. Like, he probably didn't want to, but it may have been the correct play. So,
holy shit, dude! Mr. Knobberquakes with the €45 donation goal! What's up? Dude, that's fucking awesome. Once again, I hope you get better soon. But enjoy the free time at home, my man.
Thank you very much, kind sir. 1-0 with another survivability item here. Finding the Arc of Reincarnation. That one's gonna get sold though. Worth too much gold, I guess. Keeper, oh, almost getting Nova surrounded here. Have to be careful against 1-0 with that. But still, the army here for 1-0 isn't too big, especially as far as anti-air goes. We have a single Fiend only. 40 out of 40 supply. He's kind of supply blocked right here as well. And we have quite a few Hippo Riders out already.
Okay, are they coming to the main? Yep, 3 of them. 1-0 pushing for the expansion, but there are Treants. There's this Keeper to summon more of them. And let's go into the base, hunting some Acolytes. 1-0 with a quick reaction, but also staff from Infi. This Destroyer is taking a lot of damage. Web only
didn't
now.
Get web. Oh man.
That's painful now.
So, multitasking here, being demanded of both, defending and attacking at the same time. Lich not doing too much in the north, honestly, and here comes the TP back now, which means the Lich has to run, as there's no Destroyer there at the moment for the Entangle. And that means more free rule pickoffs. Gets the first one, may even get the second. Smart play there by Infi, delaying more for his expansion to kick in to get those higher numbers, and he's already with the supply lead.
Indeed. 50 supply, more ferries coming. He's ready for the 60 supply as well. Undead hero levels, okay, but not having the level 3 Lich hurts. Killing so many archers, of course, means an earlier transition to ferries, who are not that powerful compared to Hippo Riders, but not nukeable, so... Oh, another ghoul dies here. This time he's not able to save them into the late game.
And with only a single Fiend here, it's really hard to find those pickoffs. Invested a lot of nuke mana there onto the Hippos as well. In the end, doesn't even get it. This is starting to look more and more dangerous and difficult for 1-2-0. Once again, he's going to do the best that he can with his kiting game. And the Fiend, at least, he left one Fiend behind, not selected into the group. That's a big mistake. DK dropping lower, still has one more health potion left. Level 4 in the DK with a level 2 aura is a great help for the kiting game. But the army just isn't big enough.
He needs a different answer, I feel. Infi is mining. Infi is still at 50 supply despite these few losses. Shop is coming up again. And a Berserker was added. And only one Destroyer. 1-0 after this insane early game. Struggling now. And Infi starts to have way better micro than on map 1 and is, in general, in a way better position than he was before.
1-0 here after the ghouls have vanished. Not really taking any losses, but not finding too many kills either. Morphing his second Destroyer. That's rather unusual when there's only one more statue on the ground. But I guess was lacking too far behind. And with 2 Destroyers, you can creep up this red camp really nicely. Going for the Overlord here. That is going to be level 3 for the Lich if he cleans up most of this camp and finds the Helm of Valor. There were quite a few game-changing items here. Claws plus 12, the Mana Aura, the Endurance Aura. The Helm really isn't all that great.
Yeah, it's a little bit of attack speed, and that's about it. Treants summoning the main. Scouting the main. No tier 3, of course, more ferries. How can 1-2-0 drain some resources to prevent that 70 supply mass of Infi?
Well, find more and more kills and don't lose anything in the process. Easier said than done though. One Fiend will go down, however, denied with the Dark Ritual. Alchemist, very far forward. Hero kill also, as the hero levels for the Undead Rise become more and more of a possibility. But it's so many air units already. 57 supply, and it's only gonna get more.
There's still some mana.
Expanding there on the high ground.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting and almost a little desperate. Another Fiend falls. Armor starting to rise.
Yeah,
but again, a little too late
there for once.
Yeah. Well, the second time already in this game. Already in quotes, of course.
4 Fiends, still not the highest number here. Okay, I guess. But perhaps more important, the statues are dropping low as well. Alchemist now getting focused, has to be careful. Staffed out and saved, but no Alchemist in this fight. No. Where is the coil? Did you see that?
Yep.
That Fiend was dropping low for like a solid 5 seconds. That was actually sloppy.
Maybe saving it for a nuke, but he has one more or two more.
Yeah, no, that was just... I don't know. A mistake. But 1-0's hanging on here. It's actually even in supply. 1-0 is taking these favorable trades.
But the statues are about to drop. Absolutely mandatory for these fights. But he's not chasing for them. Destroyer's retreating as well. This coil hits nicely, but the second Fiend is falling. When is the next Nova ready? It is actually. Could go for a nuke. There's nothing to save the Keeper from it.
Alright, the TP is gone. That's actually a big opening. I think 1-0 should absolutely focus on the Keeper here. If he can.
A player's forces are under attack.
Infi did a good job though with the Mana Flare form. The statues, as you correctly said, are absolutely essential to this undead force. But they're both very close to dying. With the Alchemist coming back in here, full health from the main. He's once again a pretty big threat. Here comes one more coil. That's almost the last one though for quite a while. This Fiend seems to be falling as well. Should be Dark Ritual. And this time he will do it. But now the Keeper! The Keeper's getting focused! There's a Nova ready! This could be the kill! He's lets go of him.
Okay, head coil Nova, but the Alchemist is the better target maybe, as that means the Fiend still staying alive and kind of an Infi. The pressure was too much. Infi crumbling. 1-0 in the top 4. Infi out.
Once he was at those 4 Fiends, suddenly he could take those fights and not like slam dunk them immediately, but take those favorable engagements over and over. And of course the statues being the ever so important MVP. Not even perfect micro at all. There were quite a few mistakes in that one, but good enough.
Absolutely. Not Infi's day. Maybe he's a little overplayed at the moment, as he had almost as many games as we were casting, especially Sunday. Super long day. Yesterday then as well for him. Maybe it's a little too much. Maybe it's a little too demanding, the schedule that we have here. 1-0 showing up fresh as a daisy, stomping Infi into the ground with 2-0. That was pretty impressive. Especially map 1 was pretty impressive. Yeah, these fights were so much in favor of the undead. Like, the entire time, basically.
Yeah, and I'm still not sure how the Nile perfectly micros this air army. I don't know, were you there when I don't think you were there. When we were at Iron Couch, I asked Neutron, like, how do you micro? What's the perfect way to approach that matchup? And he was like, I don't know, just attack. And in that game, like, a lot of damage went into those statues, but they never died in the end. A few Fiends did fall, but not enough to, like, totally overwhelm. And 1-0 is still one of the best at handling that army, that undead army against the Night Elf air. But as I said, it really wasn't perfect, but good enough.
All right then. That was game 1 of the day. Rather quick, over in 24 minutes, or 30 minutes. We started a little early. And that means Group A is concluded. Here is the recap. Lin, 2-1ing 1-0, and Infi, the Korean, on top of this will get the better seed in the top 4. The lower bracket saw 1-0 versus Focus, and 1-0 making it all the way, in quotes, to the lower bracket, as it only were 2 games here. That means he will make quite a jump in earnings, might even surpassing Infi here, and a good shot at increasing that, as this is such a crazy prize pool. For the winner, it's $14,500. 4,455 guaranteed.
Yeah, this is possibly the most important jump to make here. Getting to the playoffs, ever so important. Linen 1-0 the first 2. And now we're going to have 2 more. Well, not necessarily a decision, but we're certainly going to find out about the next, which is going to be Moon versus Life in Group B, which will be our next game.
I just checked it, by the way. 1-0 with this win surpassed Infi, but like by $100 or so. So they're really, really close. TH is also not in this tournament, as he was eliminated by Sox. So if 1-0 wins this tournament in the end, or makes it 1 round further, he's the top earning player of 2019. But Moon is really close behind him. Lawlight has a shot as well, and they're all in Group B. Our next match, as you said, Moon versus Life. We go into a little break, and then we'll be right back with the H&W Masters. Stay tuned.